We often think of our brains as perfect, rational machines, reliable computers, processing with flawless logic, delivering optimal conclusions, comforting, but largely an illusion. For all its marvels, the brain is not a perfect architect of thought. It is a product of evolution, shaped for a world far different from ours. It is prone to systematic errors that affect everyone, from novice to expert. These are features of our cognitive design. Understanding this imperfection is the first step to wiser choices. We will gently pull back the curtain on the biases and shortcuts guiding our lives. Imagine two systems, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, automatic, emotional. It generates impressions, intuitions, immediate feelings, effortlessly, always on. Recognizing an angry face instantly, that is System 1. It handles routines, fuels gut feelings and quick reactions. It's slow, deliberate, logical, or the reasoning cell. When a task is hard, like solving 17 times 24, System 2 engages. It requires attention, effort, and concentration. By nature, System 2 is lazy and defers to System 1. System 1 works behind the scenes, feeding biases to System 2. System 2 often endorses what feels right, skipping scrutiny. We can be swayed by charm and simple presentations of complex problems. Know when to slow down and call on System 2, especially when intuition can mislead. Our brains rely on heuristics, mental shortcuts for a complex world. They power fast-thinking System 1 and often serve us well. What is easier to recall feels more common. A classic shortcut at work. Shortcuts simplify messy reality so we can function, but they create predictable errors called cognitive biases. The availability bias. Vivid recent events feel more likely than they are. We may fear shark attacks more than falling coconuts, despite the numbers. Learn the grammar of intuition. Notice the rule of thumb you are using. Ask if the shortcut fits the situation, or might lead you astray. Anchoring. We rely too heavily on the first piece of information. Once set, we adjust insufficiently from that starting point. Even irrelevant numbers can tether our thoughts. A high anchor makes your estimate higher than a low anchor, even when absurd. Sales use this constantly. Start high, end higher than you otherwise would. Anchors sway experts too, from courtrooms to boardrooms. Counteract by setting your own anchor, a reasoned starting point. Dismiss extreme anchors. Recenter with System 2 effort. It takes intention to break free from the first number's pull. Confirmation bias. We search for, interpret, and recall information that confirms our beliefs. Our minds act less like scientists and more like lawyers building a case. We seek supporting evidence and ignore, dismiss, or reinterpret contradictions. It shapes politics and relationships, fueling misplaced confidence. Algorithms amplify it, creating echo chambers that reinforce certainty. We grow more certain, not from full evidence, but a narrow slice of it. Cultivate intellectual humility. Accept you might be wrong. Actively seek dissenting opinions and genuinely understand them. Look for disconfirming evidence. Play devil's advocate to loosen bias. Open your mind to a fuller picture of reality. The availability heuristic. What is easy to recall feels more important or likely. We swap a hard question, true frequency, for an easier one, ease of memory. Common things are easy to recall, but vivid things can distort perception. Dramatic, emotional, recent events dominate attention, skewing risk judgments. We fear flying more than driving, though car accidents are far more common. A single vivid memory can outweigh solid base rates. Fight availability. Slow down and check the data. Ground judgments in statistics, not anecdotes or headlines. Anchor your assessment in objective rates, and decide more rationally. The sunk cost fallacy makes us continue failing projects because we already invested time, money, effort. Those costs are gone. Decisions should be about future gains and losses. We hate accepting loss, so we throw good money after bad. Repairing an old car, funding a failing product, staying in an unhappy relationship. I have come too far to quit is the warning sign. Evaluate by future potential. Ask, if starting today would I still invest? If not, cut losses. Accept the mistake, learn and redirect time, money, energy to better opportunities. Overconfidence. We feel more certain than we are accurate. Expertise often amplifies this illusion. A neat story from limited info feels true. System 1 certainty. Unquestioned confidence leads to avoidable risks and costly mistakes. Hindsight bias makes the past look inevitable, and the future predictable. We underestimate chance and alternative outcomes. Combat overconfidence. Keep a decision journal to test your forecasts. Learn the difference between feeling certain and actually knowing. We have seen how shortcuts and biases lead us astray. Anchors, confirmation, availability, sunk costs, overconfidence, familiar traps. The most effective move is simple. Slow down, resist the first gut answer, let System 2 engage. Run quick bias checks. Is an anchor pulling me? Am I cherry picking? Seek different perspectives. Ask others to stress test your logic. Hearing dissent reveals blind spots and adds missing information. Treat mistakes as practice. Reflect and name the bias that misled you. Wisdom is slow, quiet, deliberate effort to think a bit more clearly each day.